Hello and welcome to my second video blog of The Drunk Historian, where I visit different historically significant locations, museums, sites, and what have you throughout the United States. Today I'm talking about B-52 Park, located in downtown Orlando. Located just off the runway of Orlando International Airport, it's a memorial to the men and women who served at McCoy Air Force Base between 1941 and 1975, before it became Orlando International Airport. During World War II, the airport, or McCoy Air Force Base as it would become known later on in the 1960s, was used as a flight training center. It was named for Colonel Norman McCoy, who was a commanding officer of the base and who died in an aviation accident in 1958. The runway was even selected for flight test training because of its 10,000-foot runway, and many notable projects came through, such as the Bell X-1, before being transferred to Murdoch Airfield in California. Even today, Orlando International Airport still proudly carries on the tradition of the men and women who served there through their military times by having the call letters MCO. Now, let's begin our tour. The Boeing B-52 Stratofortress first took to the air on 15 April 1952. It was the latest in a series of large, long-range strategic bombers produced by the Boeing company, dating back to the World War II vintage Boeing B-17. Produced from 1952 until 1962, 744 of these aircraft were purchased by the United States Air Force. The Boeing B-52 would play a significant role in the Cold War deterrence, the Vietnam War, the 1991 Gulf War, the Iraq War, and is still active today in Afghanistan. Constructed in 1940 and opened for operations in 1941, Orlando Army Airfield, or what would become McCoy Air Force Base, was selected because of its remote location and because of the Florida's generally year-round pleasant weather. It was even home to the Bell X-1 program for a brief time before it was moved to Murdoch Airfield in remote California. In the 1950s and the 1960s, the field continued to be used as a bomber base for training and flight operations. Because of its geographic location, the airfield would play a significant role in 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis. This would include many U-2 photo reconnaissance missions launched from McCoy Air Force Base, which would provide much of the photographic intelligence that precipitated the Cuban Missile Crisis. In 1966, aircraft from McCoy Air Force Base participated in their first operational raid in Vietnam. In 1972, the crash of a B-52 off the end of the McCoy Air Force Base runway made the Air Force realize that the growing population in Orlando no longer made the operation of complex, heavy, and potentially heavily armed military aircraft off of McCoy Air Force Base any longer feasible. And in 1975, the military installation was closed and turned over to the city of Orlando, eventually becoming Orlando International Airport. To this day, Orlando International Airport still uses the call letters MCO in honor of its military heritage. Initially constructed in 1956, the bomber on display at B-52 Memorial Park served for 28 years with the United States Air Force, including several tours in Vietnam. The aircraft was flown to its current position under its own power in 1984. The park itself is open to the public and located off Bear Road on the Orlando International Airport complex. It is open from 9 a.m. until sunset 365 days of the year, and 7 days a week. There is no entrance fee and parking is ample. You can expect to spend 45 minutes to an hour at this location depending on your level of interest. Despite being stored outdoors in the harsh Florida climate, the bomber is in generally good condition with regular maintenance performed by a group of volunteers. Located at the end of one of the runways of Orlando International Airport, this is a popular site with many aviation enthusiasts for aircraft watching. If you've already shelled out a huge sum of money to visit any of the notorious Orlando tourist traps, visiting B-52 Memorial Park can be a fun and educational way to spend an afternoon that, best of all, doesn't cost you any money. Well, thank you for checking in, and be sure to come back from time to time as I update with more and more of these. And have yourself a wonderful time.